Hello and welcome to my channel. Here we learn the lore and stories in the world of Tyria. Today we venture deeper into the Maguma jungle, to the twisted underbrush of the zone Tangled Depths, where most fear to tread. I will go through this lore as with the other lore videos. We will learn the history, places and other secrets, as well as follow our survivor Eryndel as his journey comes closer to Mordramoth. Sit back, relax and listen to Tangled Depths, the endless labyrinth beneath the jungle. You can find the full lore and story of the Tangled Depths on the official Guild Wars 2 wiki. Let's begin. Beneath the jungle. Beneath a towering canopy of the Maguma jungle, far below the tangled vines and the thick humid air, lies a world unseen by the sun. A vast underground network of tunnels, roots and forgotten ruins stretches endlessly through the darkness. This place is known as Tangled Depths, a chaotic maze where nature, history and danger intertwine. It is a land shaped by time, carved by water, and bound by roots that dig deep into the earth. Here, the world above does not matter. The rules of life are different. The creatures are ancient, the land is ever-shifting, and every shadow hides something unknown. But before this place became a war-torn battleground, before the rise of the jungle dragon Mordramoth, Tangled Depths had its own history, a story of civilizations lost, of creatures thriving in the dark, and of secrets buried under stone and soil. A world carved by time. The depths did not appear overnight. They were shaped by forces older than any living being in Tyria. The ground above was once solid, but over the centuries rivers dug their way through the rock, carving massive caverns and winding tunnels. Water, slow but unstoppable, created lakes beneath the surface, leaving behind twisted pathways and towering stone pillars. But it was not just the earth and water that shaped this underground world. The great roots of the jungle above stretched deep into the depths, seeking water and sustenance. Some were thin and fragile, while others grew as thick as trees, creating bridges and barriers between the tunnels. These roots were part of the land itself, woven into the very structure of Tangled Depths. Above, the jungle was filled with life, roaring waterfalls, lush greenery and creatures of all kinds. But below, in the darkness, a different kind of ecosystem flourished. Strange fungi glowed with eerie colors, casting dim light into the shadows. Crystal formations jutted out from the cave walls, humming with energy. Massive underground lakes stretched into the distance, their waters black and still, hiding unknown creatures beneath their surface. This was a land untouched by the sun, yet alive in its own way. It was a world of hidden beauty and quiet danger, where even the smallest misstep could mean never finding a way back. The rise and fall of Rata Novus. Before the depths became a battlefield, they were home to Rata Novus, an advanced Asuran city lost to time. Long ago, Asuran scientists came to this place, drawn by the unknown. They were not like the arrogant scholars of Radasum, who looked only to their own intelligence. These Asura had a purpose. They sought to study the elder dragons. They believed that understanding these ancient things could reveal a way to defeat them. Rata Novus became a fortress of knowledge. The Asura built great machines, conducted experiments, and mapped out the weaknesses of dragons. They worked in secret, hidden from the world, gathering data that could change the fate of Tyria. But one day, the city fell silent. The shock, an ancient race of insect-like creatures, had lurked in the depths for centuries. These creatures were not mindless beasts. They were intelligent, powerful, and drawn to magic. The energy flowing through Rata Novus attracted them like a beacon. When the shack swarmed, nothing could stop them. They poured through the tunnels in endless waves, destroying machines, overwhelming defenses, and devouring anything in their path. The Asura fought, but their weapons failed. One by one their numbers fell, and their city was lost. Now, only ruins remain. The great halls of Rata Novus are buried beneath stone and webbing, and the knowledge stored within its walls is left to decay. But even after all this time, some secrets still linger, waiting for those brave enough to uncover them. A land claimed by war. For centuries, Tangled Depths remained a place of mystery, untouched by the outside world. The creatures here lived undisturbed, until Mordramoth, the jungle dragon, awoke. Mordermoth's power was different from that of the other elder dragons. It did not rule through destruction like Zhaitan, nor did it freeze the land like Jormag. Instead, its influence spread like a disease, twisting the jungle, reshaping the land, and corrupting all who stood in its way. The roots of Mordermoth dug deep, wrapping around the tunnels of Tangled Depths. The Mordrem, the dragon's army, took control of the land, spreading terror through the caves. Creatures that had once lived in harmony were now hunted. The balance of the underground world was shattered. But not all who lived in the depths were so easily conquered. The Shak, despite their hostility toward all others, were not affected by Mordermoth's corruption. Their hunger for magic made them unpredictable, a force of chaos in the middle of the war. The Nuhawk and Itzel, the frog-like Hylek tribes of the jungle, refused to surrender. They knew the tunnels better than any outsider, and they used their knowledge to fight back. The Nuhawk, strong and sturdy, adapted to life underground, mastering the art of navigating the maze-like caverns. The Itzel, swift and clever, used the jungle's natural poisons against their enemies. And then there were the Exalted, ancient golden warriors created to protect the world from darkness. Though the numbers were few, they stood as beacons of hope within the depths, fighting to keep Mordermoth's corruption from spreading further. A maze of endless danger. To those who venture into Tangled Depths, the land itself is a challenge. There are no clear paths, no safe roads to follow. The tunnels twist and turn, leading explorers in circles, testing their willpower and survival skills. In some areas, stalactites hang like jagged teeth, dripping with moisture from the cavern ceiling. In others, thick roots create tunnels of their own, winding through the rock like veins. Lakes of glowing water shimmer in the dark, their surfaces disturbed by only unseen creatures lurking beneath. But the greatest dangers come from those who call this place home. The Chalk, endlessly hungry, are always waiting. They attack in swarms, overwhelming their prey with sheer numbers. Their thick carapaces protect them from harm, and their ability to absorb magic makes them unpredictable foes. Twisted plants, filled with poison and malice, lash out at anything that draws near. And beyond them all, the land itself is the greatest danger of all. It is easy to get lost, to wander too far, to fall into a chasm with no bottom. The tunnels change, collapse, shift. What was once a safe path may be gone the next day. Yet for those who survive, the rewards are great. The lost knowledge of Novus, the hidden treasures buried beneath the earth, the chance to understand the mysteries of the Chalk, all of it waits, hidden in the depths. Tangled Depths is a world forgotten by time, ruled by nature, and shaped by the battles of the past. It is a place of beauty and horror, where adventure and death walk side by side. And for those who dare to enter, it is a place that will never let them go. Now for the continuation of Eryndel's journey. Sergeant Eryndel had always been different from other Servari. He was a soldier, born from the Pale Tree with a strong will and a steady hand. When the pact called for warriors to fight against Mordermoth, he had answered without hesitation. But now, deep beneath the jungle, lost in the Tangled Depths, he was alone. His squad had been with him when the airships fell from the sky, when the jungle rose against them in a storm of vines and fire. Together, they had fought through verdant brink, helping survivors, gathering supplies. They had pressed on into Auric Basin, where the golden city of the Exalted stood against the dragon's corruption. Then came Tangled Depths, a maze of twisting roots, glowing caverns, and endless darkness. Here, everything went wrong. Lost in the dark. The attack had come without warning. The Chalk had burst from the tunnels, their shivering cries echoing through the cavern walls. They swarmed the packed soldiers in a wave of glowing bodies and razor-sharp claws. Eryndel fought fiercely, his greatsword flashing in the dim light, cutting through the creatures as they lunged. His squad held the line, but the Chalk were too many. One by one, his comrades fell. Some dragged away into the tunnels, others vanishing into the darkness. A sudden collapse. The ground beneath him cracked and crumbled. Eryndel fell. The last thing he remembered was a cold, the weight of the earth swallowing him whole. Awakening in the unknown. When he woke, he was alone. He lay at the bottom of the deep cavern, surrounded by glowing mushrooms and towering stone pillars. His sword was still in his hand, but his armor was cracked, covered in dust. His squad was gone. For a long moment he listened. The tunnels were quiet now, but he knew better than to trust the silence. Slowly, painfully he got to his feet. His body ached, but he was alive. That was enough. He had to move. A world beneath the world. Eryndel wandered through the tunnels, following the faint hum of crystal energy deep in the walls. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and something metallic. As he walked, he saw signs of life, old Nuhawk carvings, the remains of ancient Asuran machines, the flickering glow of unfamiliar insects crawling across the cavern walls. But there was something else, a familiar presence. Something was watching him. At first, he thought it was his imagination. The shadows played tricks in the dim light, twisting into shapes that seemed almost alive. Then he heard it. A whisper. Not a voice. Something deeper, more ancient. He had heard it before. It echoed through the roots, pulsing in the stone beneath his feet. Mordramoth. The dragon's mind still reached through the jungle, its will spreading through the land itself. Even here, deep beneath the surface, its power lingered. Eryndel closed his eyes, steadying himself. He was Sylvari, born of nature, connected to the dream. He had always felt the pull of something greater, but he had fought against it. He was not like others who had fallen to the dragon's call. But now, in the depths of the jungle, he could feel it clawing at the edges of his mind. He clenched his fists. No, he thought, I am still myself. He forced the whispers away and pressed on. The survivors. Days passed in the darkness. He walked the tunnels, searching for a way out, for his squad, for any sign of the pact. Then, at last, he found them. A small group of survivors, packed soldiers, Itzel scouts, and a lone exalted warrior, huddled around a flickering fire in the ruins of an old Asuran outpost. They were battered, weary, but alive. Eryndel stepped forward, and the soldiers raised their weapons, wary of a lone figure emerging from the shadows. Then they saw the packed insignia on his armor, the familiar glow of a Sylvari untouched by corruption. A woman, a human ranger, let out a breath of relief. "You're one of us," she said. Eryndel nodded, and for the first time since falling into the depths, he did not feel alone. A new mission. The survivors told him everything. The pact was still pushing forward, but the tunnels were crawling with enemies, Chalk, Mordram, and things even older than the jungle itself. The soldiers here had been cut off, unable to move without drawing attention. They needed a way out. Eryndel looked at the ruined outposts, at the wounded soldiers, at the endless maze stretching beyond them. "We don't escape," he said finally. "We push forward." There was a chance, a risky, dangerous path through the heart of the Shak hives, leading towards Rata Novus, the lost Asuran city. If they could reach it, they could regroup with the packed forces and strike deeper at Mordramoth's domain. The others hesitated, but in the end, they trusted him. Together, they gathered what supplies they could and prepared for the journey ahead. And as he stepped into the darkness, Sergeant Eryndel led the way. Into the heart of the depths. The tunnels of Tangled Depths were ever-changing, shifting like a living thing. The path ahead was uncertain, but the mission was clear. Somewhere beyond this labyrinth, Mordramoth waited, and Eryndel wanted nothing more than to see the dragon fall. This has been the story and lore of the Tangled Depths. I hope you enjoyed this video. The next episode in the Heart of Thorns expansion zones is the last one. Then I will move on to the second expansion, Path of Fire. I plan on doing the Living World seasons as well, but the expansions take center stage for now. With that said, thank you for watching this video. Please like and comment something you learned or something that you would like to hear. Also subscribe to not miss future lore content in this format. Now, take care, and I will see you in the next story. Goodbye.